The moment I fell in love with dance, well, I've always danced, so yeah, I just remember dancing in the kitchen with my mum or my sister when I was little. But I think the moment I really knew I wanted to dance was when I watched a video of Wayne McGregor's Chroma. I was just like amazed by the lines, the dancers, and how they move their bodies. And I just was like, okay, I'm already in ballet. Maybe I can take it to the next level and do it professionally. And I think the reason I continue dancing and why I love it now is the people around me inspire me. I've got some amazing friends and peers, and I think they're the people who keep me going and motivate me to be a better, not only dancer, but person as well. For me, dance represents just an outlet, which sounds weird because it's what I'm doing professionally, hopefully now. But dance has always been like an escape for me from, things going on when I was growing up, or like the rigid nature of like a typical academic school day. So it was always just like a way to, let my feelings out. And I think as hard as it is now, like doing it every day in training, it still is an outlet for me, and I can just express how I'm feeling through my body. Another thing dance represents to me, I know it's a cliche, but it is like a language without words, and people anywhere, anytime can dance together and communicate things that you can't communicate through even writing or speaking. So to be part of something like that it's beautiful and, yeah, really special, so I'm grateful for that. My relationship to dance is like anything, complex and complicated. It changes day to day like any other relationship. So some days I love it and it gives me life and it's the reason I live. And other days it's the form of all my stress, all my anxiety and all my self-doubt. Because for many reasons it's a risky career going into anything creative. So there's the element of like, what do I do after I graduate? Where will I be? What if I'm injured? So that's a complicated part of it. Also, I was anorexic when I was younger for a long time, and that was partly contributed by ballet because I was going to be a ballet dancer when I was younger, and that's very regimented, and I'm sure that, you've seen the stereotypes are real. So when I was younger, growing up as a young teenager, dance was a form of stress for me, and like I had to be perfect and I had to look a certain way and have certain lines and certain amount of turns and turn out and all of these different things. And then that's when I quit dance and was focusing on academics. And then I came back to dance in a more positive light and in a good environment. And that's when that teacher reached out to me and was like, you have something, you can learn to love dance again in a healthy way. So ever since then, since I was about 16, 17, my inherent relationship with dance is very positive because I get to meet so many beautiful, incredible, creative people who inspire me, and I try and take that with me when I'm having a bad day. I'm like, oh, I hate this, because it's just so much pressure sometimes. But yeah, it changes like with any relationship, but I wouldn't change it. When people watch me dance, I want them to feel some sort of inspiration, and not in the way that I'm inspiring people, but they come and see me or the piece that I'm dancing in and come away with a feeling of, oh, that was really interesting. Oh, I can relate to that, or I can connect to that in some way outside my everyday life. I want people to feel like they've seen something that, makes them think. And also, typically with any dance as well, any form of art, you want to convey an emotion. So whatever emotion I'm trying to channel on stage, I want people to feel that as well. And hopefully that's successful with sadness, happiness, whatever, just to be human and share that. It was not always my plan to pursue dance. Actually, it's a funny question because I was actually enrolled in Edinburgh University to do English and history up until the beginning of last year, and then for various reasons I changed my mind to come to Northern. I have always danced. I've always done ballet, and I was only in 2021, 2022 when I started contemporary, and that was through the CAT program at Swindon. And when I joined there, I wasn't planning on doing dance professionally or seriously, but I had an amazing teacher who inspired me and said, oh, Michaela, you should try and do it professionally. So I auditioned to vocational schools and I got into a few places, and decided if I was to dance, I would come here. But that was always on the back burner. I was always focused on doing academics. And then my friend, actually, I was sleeping around at his house, and he was like, okay, Michaela, deadline's today for Northern. And then he just clicked accept for me. So actually, I just wound up here kind of on a whim, and I wouldn't change it for anything. And I'm doing what I love now. And you can always go back to academics or something else later, but you can only dance when you're young. So here I am. What happens to me emotionally or mentally when I dance? A whole array of things. Like, if I'm just training day to day, my emotions can be anywhere from like having high energy levels and just being crazy and waiting for the next time to do my routine in the center, to just being exhausted and feeling like I have no motivation because it's the same thing day in, day out. So it completely varies, training-wise. But then if I'm performing, you know, my emotions are going to be nerves and excitement, anticipation. So it just depends on the setting and on the day of when I'm dancing, because some days I hate it, and then other days it's the best thing ever. When I don't hold my emotion when I dance, yeah, obviously not in class. In class I'm focusing on like what I'm doing with my limbs and my head and everything. But when I'm performing, you know, I like to think of it in my heart, cliche, but all the emotion comes from there, and I draw on my own experience as an outlet. So when I dance, it comes from there. But I'd say my teacher would say something else, because I'm always like going like this, going like that. So I'd say probably like up on top of my chest, I hold all my tension and my emotion there. But yeah, when I dance, I draw on my heart and my feelings. So I'd say, yeah.